Welcome to Coffee with Blaine. Here's some coffee. Here's some Blaine. How you guys doing today? We'll see. Everyone's at work. Why do you do this when everyone's at work, Blaine? Why? Well, for those of you who are not at work, welcome. Thank you for hanging out today. You can probably see some slight differences in what's going on. Ooh, what's this button do? Orientation selection not available while live. Becky, it's just you and me today. How are you? What do you want to talk about? How you feeling? How many sniffles do you think I'll make in the first minute? That's the real question. So I've been revamping my studio, and I still have a little work to do. So the way my screen orientation is laid out, I have like 2 screens now instead of the 3 because I traded in my MacBook Pro. I actually, a few years back, I had bought Christy a Mac Mini with an M1 chip for video editing. And I had bought myself a MacBook Pro for the studio. Good morning, Scott. How are you doing, bro? Post-shift, not post-ship. Post-shift nap and making my coffee. Well, cheers to you, Becky. Appreciate you. But yeah, and I had this crazy idea a couple weeks ago. Because my MacBook Pro has a really nice chip, but it's still an Intel model. So I was going to trade it in on a Mac Mini because I was going to get a more powerful desktop that I didn't have to tear down every time I wanted to go on the road. So when I was telling Christy about this idea, she was like, "Hey, babe." She had a MacBook Air. My MacBook Air died. Work gave me an iMac. Why don't we just trade? So I traded her the Mac Mini for the MacBook Pro, and I have a new setup. But the built-in camera on the MacBook Pro was nice for setting the right angle. As you can see, I have now a third-party camera. It's not bad, but it gets a bunch of this just blank space, so I don't have the camera set up quite the way I wanted. But that's okay. If you guys are interested, I can go through and share all the new studio things and the new studio layout if that's something you're interested in. Just let me know. Or we can talk about other stuff. That is totally up to you. Weej, what's up? How are you doing? What do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about the new studio stuff, or do you want to talk about something else? Do you want to talk about your shows? You want to tell me how your show last night went in Denver? A weekend of shows. You guys are super quiet. That's okay. It's early. I will just continue to ramble until, well, just until. I know it takes a minute for people to get going. Let me see. I have a secondary camera. I'm going to try to add the source. Extra camera. USB camera, add camera. Last night was good. We competed with the Nuggets game and Catch Fire and still had a crowd. We sounded good though, had a blast. Weej is the man, Tara. Cheers, by the way. Thank you for hanging out. Yeah. Here, let me see if I can do this. It won't let me connect my iPhone, but it will let me connect my little secondary camera, this little guy. So let's see what we can do on this thing. I'm gonna add this screen in. Hey, look at that. There's my hand. There's my keyboard. That's all the same. There's my coffee. How was Cali Roots? I'll put this down here just for a second. Turn this off. Cali Roots was amazing. Had a blast closing down the Cali Roots stage. Yeah, it was just a really, really good time. Played super well. Everyone did such a great job. Got to see some awesome acts as well. And yeah, got a story or two out of it. That's not coffee appropriate. Multiple vehicles to fix. God damn. Weege. Could you do me a favor and give my car a quick alignment while you're out? That would be awesome. But yeah, had a blast. Can't wait till next year. Hopefully we'll be invited back. All right, let's see if we can do this. So, all right. Had to move my wallet there. Had some cards out and stuff. So if we zoom in this way, it's hard to see this little guy right here. But this is my new hub. It's a Thunderbolt hub, so it adds in all the card readers, all the extra stuff. Everything's kind of plugged in through that. We got a couple of hard drives here you can see poking out. Those are, one of those is new. There's the Mac Mini, little gaming controller for when I get bored. There's my Apollo. There's my phone gaming controller. DK, what's up? We're just talking about all this stuff. We're showing the USB hub. There's the Mac Mini. And here's the screen layout. So you can see me on the screen. I'm sure it's kind of hard. There's the webcam and the ring light, obviously. But this screen here is vertical orientation. It was one of the screens from my last setup. But to fit the new layout, I went vertical. Instead, there's my headphone amp, which I got working noiselessly. When I was working with my MacBook in the old hub, it was borderline unusable because of background noise. And now with the new system, that's been completely taken care of. So now I can have, not that there's enough room in this room, but I could theoretically have 8 people on headphones in here listening. All one mix, but it's still kind of cool. And there's 8 headphones out. All right, Tara. Heck yeah, I love that. Get on that music, and if you need any guitar or lap steel or ukulele or anything like that, let me know. Hit me up. Yeah, all the buttons, right? And then, yeah, there's still the regular speakers going on. And then, what do I got? This is all the same. This is my face. Got the nylon out. Been doing a lot of, here, I'm going to turn this off. I've been doing a lot of acoustic tracking. I was tracking some acoustic guitar for Matt, my drummer Matt from Hyrie, for one of his Mind in Motion tunes. So I've been using this guy, my 251, which sounds so nice. And then I was working on some nylon string tracking as well for some possible Hyrie stuff. And today, I'm going to use that same mic to lay down some ukulele for some weed stuff, which I'm excited for. Speaking of ukulele, I should probably show this guy. So with my lighting not being figured out and my camera not being figured out yet, I promise you it's way prettier than the camera will show. This is my new Kamaka ukulele. As I smash it. But yeah, let's see if it's in tune. Not bad, not bad. So I think I still have this mic hooked up. You can kind of get an idea of what it sounds like. You know, all this expensive equipment into a phone mic. But here, let me switch mics out. Hopefully you can hear that. Obviously, I don't have the mic set up. It's just I just thrown it in, and the ook is slightly out of tune, but it's so full. It sounds very thick. It doesn't have that plasticky toy top end feel. Let's see what it sounds like on this mic. All right. Some interesting chord choices I was playing, like this one. The tag. Yeah, right. So the tag is for the pickup that's in it. It's got an LR Bags pickup in, which you can plug in thing, and there's a volume knob right here. And not too shabby. I just move the microphone with my nose, if that means anything. I haven't plugged it in yet. No. I didn't really get this ook for live per se. Like the idea behind wanting an ook of this caliber is to mic it up and to do recordings with it. And just like with my lap steel, Ouija's project is going to be my maiden voyage for this beautiful girl here. Morning, Lindsay. How are you? You feeling any better? I hope so. Chelsea, good morning. Cheers. I have a couple of classes of ukulele ensemble in my program where I teach. Love that instrument. It's been like 10 years that it's been really used in music education. Such an untapped resources for kids. I agree, Chelsea. Honestly, when I was in school, our school in nowhere, Ohio, had a bunch of crappy acoustic guitars that could barely hold tune, nylon strings, small size, like, and there was like one section in middle school where we're like, oh, we're gonna all play guitar as part of music class, and it was so bad. And honestly, if they were to keep some decent ooks, this one is fucking stupid expensive, but you can get a decent holding tune quality ook for like $150. Much cheaper and quality for the price point than a guitar. And yeah, I feel like ukulele is easier to play. People can get a grasp on it easier with the 4 strings. It's just an ideal situation for music classes. So I'm glad you guys are doing that. And yeah, that's super awesome. Yeah, for real. I can't wait to put this girl through her paces. I'm sure you'll be seeing a lot of it on my Patreon, especially. For those of you who aren't Patreon members, please consider patreon.com/DillingerMusic. It's how I keep funding these artistic projects, and I appreciate you guys. A lot of good content there. I've been really on it lately. Been posting almost every day with new stuff, behind the scenes stuff. You guys knew about this ook before anybody else did, along with a lot of unreleased stuff. There's still several songs that you guys have full access to that haven't been released yet. So anyway, that's enough of me plugging me, essentially. Good morning, Mickey. Welcome. Thanks for hanging out. How you doing? Yeah. Do you guys have any questions about any of the gear, the new ook, the new computer? Oh, I got one more piece of new gear I can show you guys. So part of my idea to switch to a desktop system versus my MacBook, which I was using for. I've used that portable system on the road since I've been on the road, really. I think I started with a regular MacBook from like 2010, 2011. Then I moved to a MacBook Pro like 2015. Then I moved to a 2019 MacBook Pro. But the idea was I'd set up my home studio and the interface and everything and plug it all in and run all the cables. And then when I leave the studio, I rip out my computer, I rip out all the cables, I pack everything up, and then I have this shell of a studio with some monitors and some random stuff, speakers. And then I come back from tour and I spend a day or two re-putting everything in. And then I'm always wanting to switch some stuff around while I'm doing that. But it's just been, and then there's always the risk that if my computer gets damaged in any way, I'm done. I'm out of commission until it gets fixed, basically. And that's a lot of risk when, the computer is your main lifeline for, music lessons as well as recording projects and streaming and all of that. So I thought, wouldn't it be nice if I could have 2 systems? And initially, when I thought about this concept, it would be having like a nice, sorry for the sniffles, a nice big home computer and then like a nice powerful laptop Yeah, Becky. That's why. Yeah, so that's why I got the Mac Mini, right? And my nice desktop with the M1 chip. But yeah, and then on the road have a separate system. Well, this last month, Apple just released Logic, which is the program I use to record my music for the iPad. Now I've had an iPad for a minute. I've been using it as like a controller in the studio and stuff like that. So it is small, like 32 gigs. So the thought crossed my head, what if I upgraded my iPad and then I could use it as a full recording studio. I have a separate mobile interface. I've had this for a couple of years, the iRig Pro. The idea behind getting this initially was it's a nice interface. Got a combo jack here, single combo jack. Little gain knob. It's got MIDI in and out, which that's pretty crazy. Headphone jack. And that's about it. You can plug this into your phone or your iPad or your computer, which is kind of cool. And I would use it for practice. So I'd plug my guitar in, plug in some headphones. I could practice on the bus. I could practice in the hotel, et cetera, et cetera. Well, with Logic Pro, I was like, well, if I upgrade my iPad, get something powerful with good storage, I could take the iRig and the Logic on the iPad, and I could do tracking on the road. I could do my lessons on the road. I could do all my sessions and stuff on the road. And so I went with the good help of one of my friends, and I just picked up a brand new, literally brand new iPad Pro with the Magic Keyboard. It's got, I think, a terabyte of storage. It's 16 gigabytes of RAM. It's got the M2 chip in it. M2, whatever the most powerful M2 chip for the iPad is. It's basically a top of the line spec iPad. It's got the 12.9 inch screen. The thing is a beast. It's arguably just as powerful as my Mac Mini. But yeah, I have a friend who shall remain nameless because I don't want people bothering them. But they kind of hooked me up with some friends and family discount for Apple, and I got a really good deal on it. And since I was able to get the desktop computer for free, yeah, I decided to pull the trigger on the iPad. So now, when I want to record mobily, I have this and this. That's it. That's all I need. Pretty freaking stoked on that. And my home setup just stays as is. I don't have to disconnect any wires. I don't have to rip anything apart. I don't have to put anything back together. I can literally throw my bags in a corner, sit down in this chair, and start working, and then unpack at my leisure. I am beyond excited for this. And with how powerful this thing is, I'm looking forward to really looking forward to the first track that I send somebody, and if they like it, having them be like, "Oh man, That sounds really good, man. And I'd be like, yeah, I did it on my iPad. That's going to be fun. I like to nerd out about stuff. One of my previous nerd out accomplishments, I don't know if I told you guys, I might have, is there's a lot of guitar amp purist, if you will. Like people who are like, oh man, digital stuff doesn't sound as good as real amps, and that's the only way to get good tone, and that's how professional recordings are made. And granted, if you have the money and the time and the space and the setup, hell yeah. I use an amp for a lot of my home recording. I got it all set up, but I'm using a digital cabinet. But I am very proud of the fact that I have recordings on an album that is a Billboard top 5 in the reggae category, where I recorded parts that are amp sims, not real amps. Line 6 amp sims to throw salt in the wound of the purist. Granted, the Helix stuff is really, really good, but when you say the word line 6 over diehard guitarists, at least they used to go. But anyway, sniffle. Go be an adult, Becky. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for nerding out with me on this whole setup. And thank you for being you, saving lives, literally, on a daily basis. Cheers. But yeah. So I'm hoping to get the same internal nerdy satisfaction, to get a compliment on a recording that I did that was all amp sim on an iPad. Yeah, it's gonna be my nerdy comeuppance, I guess. I have returned. Oh, that's what I imagined you said that, like, in the middle of AutoZone. Probably in line. Still haven't left for AutoZone. Oh, I see. So what'd you do all this time that you weren't here, Weege? Where'd you go, buddy? You missed my whole rant about iPad recording. And my whole portable setup, which is literally this. I'm so stoked. Which is arguably more powerful than my previous mobile setup, which was a lot of extra stuff. Showered and breakfast. Oh, I thought maybe you snuck away to the gym or something. Chelsea is sending long ass voice memos. Just 8-minute long dissertations where you need a pad and paper to respond. I'm just messing with you. Yeah. So there we are. The other cool thing about the setup is when I'm at home, the iPad functions as an additional monitor for my computer. I forgot to mention that. So I've been using the iPad as a third monitor screen to just tuck away some plugins and stuff while I work. And when I'm sitting, if I can show you. So this chair is back away from the computer, right next to the guitar, behind the wood soundboard. This mic is normally over by this chair. And instead of me sitting up here where I have all these reflective surfaces in this desk, right, I get the acoustic away from that. So there's nothing between the acoustic and the mic, basically, and nothing immediately surrounding the guitar but this wood panel. And then I have this little tray here, and I set the iPad there, and I use it as a remote control with the faders and everything for Logic, which is super dope. So I have my own little mixer there. I have my own buttons to press. It's pretty freaking cool. I can arm tracks, record tracks, adjust levels, do all that stuff right there on the iPad, but just as it's controlling my computer, which is awesome. Awesome. Did I mention it's awesome? And when I'm up here, I can have that controller set up and I can have a physical surface like a little mini desktop set up for Logic. So all around, awesome studio. A bunch of new stuff. I think that's about all the new stuff. I mean, that's a lot of new stuff. I revamped my whole setup. I spent days reconfiguring the computer, and then like another day reconfiguring the iPad. Well, setting up the iPad initially. And what? Oh yeah, I'm taking this guitar in today. I was up till like 2 a.m. to record because I'm taking all of my Taylor acoustics. I have 2 plus Trishas into Taylor to get all setups, basically, to get little checkups, new strings, neck adjustments, any fret leveling that needs done, intonation issues. I think one of them is going to get a new nut, but they'll probably be out of commission for a week or so. So had to get the last acoustic recordings done this weekend. But yeah, as soon as I get out of here, I'm probably gonna go do that. So all the acoustics will be beautifully set up when I get back. What's up, life? Yeah. I've been having some conversations with Matt, my drummer, who's been staying with us for a couple of weeks between Cali Roots and this Kauai show we play next weekend. Lucky enough to have a guest room that he can stay at and not have to fly back and forth to Rhode Island. But I told him, I said, Matt, I'm done buying stuff. I've spent so much money. That hub is new too. I bought that new off Amazon. I have spent a significant amount of money upgrading this setup, though significantly less than I would have had I had to buy. I think that's right. The Mac Mini, being able to just trade out my MacBook even for one was great. But yeah. So now I'm gonna try to spend not as much money. And Matt's response was basically, yeah, right. Oh, I do have a new snake enclosure coming too, probably within the next month. So I can update you guys on that. Let's go for questions. Anyone who's listening who can throw in a message or two. Let me know if there's anything you want to talk about. If there's anything, any questions you have, or any cool topics you want to explore. Yeah. Otherwise, I think we're probably running the natural conclusion of this live stream. How large are yeah, that's a great question. So right now, 3 of the 4 snake enclosures are 4 feet long by 2 feet deep. And one of the enclosures is what they call a 20-gallon long tank for the little snake. The gopher snake was in a 2.5 foot long by 18 inches deep by like 17 inches high or something like that. It was a small one because the snake was a baby. But that's the one I upgraded to the 4x2 by 4x2 by 2, 4 foot long, 2 feet deep, 2 feet high. The ball python has been in a 4x2 by 2 basically since I got him. But it's a melamine or wood enclosure, which isn't the best for humidity, and it's super heavy. So the new one I'm getting is the same size, 4x2 by 2, but it's going to be all PVC. Like it'll be basically the exact same one that I got for the gopher snake. That's the one on the way. The Dumeril's boa, which is a ground boa, mine likes to burrow and never climb. Which is normal behavior for Dumeril's boa. She's in a 4 foot long by 2 foot deep, but only 14 inches high. But hers is going to be the most expensive to upgrade. So after I get this one taken care of and I build up a little bit of more reserves, she's still a baby, so she's got room to grow. But she's going to get an 8 foot long by 2 feet deep by probably 16 or 18 inches high. So that's going to be the expensive upgrade. And then I'll probably upgrade the rosy boa to something like a 3 foot by 2 foot by 16 inch or 14 inch. Or even 12 inch. She doesn't climb much either. Maureen, good morning. Thanks for saying hi. Hope you're having a great week. I was just showing off the new ook. Sounds so good. Sounds so good. Jang, what kind of pedal effects that you always use in a gig? Is that multi? I mean, on a gig, I'm just mainly using my Helix. I have a Helix floor. Just the regular Helix pedal board. It's got my whole rig in it. It's got amp sims in it. IRs for speaker cabinets, and all my effects. Yeah, that's normally what I use for live. I just bring one thing. I have a speaker for it. I have a head rush FR, which is full range, full response monitor. It tilts up just like a normal stage monitor. I plug my Helix into input 1 or whatever, and then I have stage volume, and it recreates exactly what the Helix is putting out. Which I like more than using an actual amp. Because 1, it's pointed up at my face from the front. And 2, I want to know the sound that the Helix is putting out. So if I run the Helix to an amp, what I'm hearing on stage is not necessarily what they're hearing at front of house. And unless you do it right, it could be significantly worse. It takes a lot of routing to do something like that. And at that point, you might as well just mic the cabinet. But yeah. I have a bunch of analog pedals. I don't know if you can see back here, but this whole shelf is basically analog pedals. And then I have a row. Here, let me see if I can use this handy dandy second camera here. So there's a bunch of my pedals. And then if we scroll down here, there's a little pedal board with a bunch more. So I have a carbon copy delay, the deluxe model with the tap tempo. I have a Keeley Red Dirt overdrive, which is like a Tube Screamer TS808 style pedal, but it's got significantly more gain. I have a Phase 90, the Eddie Van Halen version. It just sounds good, and it's got a button where it puts it back to the original sound of the Phase 90. I have a Neutrino, which is a Keeley envelope filter. That's how I get that like 311 amber type of guitar sound, or like 70s Grateful Dead sound. And then I have a wah pedal. And there's my amp, by the way. It's also being used as a shelf. I need to clean. And then here I have a double tracker, which is kind of like that while my guitar gently weeps type of tone. In the back I have a vice grip compressor, which is just a compressor. I have a talk box hiding that you can't see on the camera. That's where I get that Peter Frampton style sound, or Alice in Chains type of tone. This is a multi-pedal from Keeley. It's got a bunch of different modulations that you can cycle through. It's got a drive, and it's got a drive/boost. I could probably do a whole gig with just that pedal, which is cool. Have a great trip. I hope it goes well for you, DK. I have the Angry Charlie, which is what they call a Marshall in a box, or a plexi style overdrive. I really love that pedal. Vapor Trail analog delay, which is great. I have an old analog optical tremolo from Voodoo Lab. I have the Swollen Pickle by Way Huge. It's a fuzz pedal. It's the first fuzz pedal I've ever owned in my whole life, and I just got it a couple months ago. I have the Sparkle Drive, which is kind of a cool overdrive that you can mix in your clean guitar signal with. I have a sitar pedal. Self-explanatory. In the back there, I have a delay station and a reverb station from Seymour Duncan. And then in the way back, I have my RE20 Space Echo, which is kind of my go-to for a lot of stuff. And then behind that, I think I have another mini Crybaby Wah, which I'm loaning to my drummer right now, Matt. But yeah, I have a nice variety of effects that I use when I'm recording. Yeah. All right, guys. I got to get going. I just realized that it's almost 11 o'clock. I got to get these guitars in to get fixed, and I have a student actually coming in person today. So thank you for hanging out with me. I love and appreciate you guys. Have a